got Ta, Ya. That's the first letter in the Most High's name, right? Then you got Ka, and I mentioned La. You got Ma, Na, Sa, I. This is the only, and all these, right, this is the only character that has a different sound than any of the rest of the 22 characters, all right? Because you got two sounds, two vowels. You got and you got I. Once you understand and I, that's the whole Hebrew language, all right? So you got I, you got Pa. Now Pa, that's where you get the word mouth. Like Payala is the mouth of God, mouth of the Most High. Now if you look at it, it looks like an open mouth, right? Then you got Taza, then you got Kwa, then you got Ra, then you got Shah, then you got Fa. So that's the whole Hebrew alphabet, right? Now, when you go down to the Assyrian, once you understand that, the characters are a little fancier, but this is the Assyrian. So you got Ba, Ga, Da, and so forth. All right?
Try to keep
language of the Northern Central, or Northwestern, group that was originally spoken by the ancient Middle Eastern people known as Arameans. It was most closely related to Hebrew, Syriac, and Phoenician and was written in a script derived from the Phoenician alphabet.
We can help you sort out your electricity and gas supply whether you're moving in or have just moved.
The number of the sons of God. How a scrap of skin resolves a Bible chronology mistake. In the biblical book of Genesis, the prophet Moses summarized the history of 70 Near Eastern nations. Genesis chapter 10 lists 70 clans that descended from Noah and his sons. Genesis chapter 11 recounts how that God scattered the clans, which became 70 nations. Genesis chapter 12 reveals how, about 100 years later, God promised to bless all the nations through Abraham's descendants, the Israelites. In the biblical book of Deuteronomy, the prophet Moses summarized in a poem how that God had apportioned land to 70 non-Israelite nations. Standard Bible translations read, "When the Most High gave to the nations their inheritance, when he divided mankind, he fixed the borders of the peoples according to the number of the sons of Israel." For nearly 2 millennia, scholars have been aware that the ancient Greek translations of Deuteronomy 32:8 read a little differently. Whereas the oldest Masoretic Hebrew manuscripts read, "the sons of Israel," all Greek manuscripts read either "sons of God" or "angels of God." Prior to the 20th century, Bible commentators, following either the Hebrew "sons of Israel" or the Greek "angels of God," invented various interpretations. Those who tried to interpret the phrase "the number of the sons of God," knowing it to be an anachronism, invented different meanings for it. Poole wrote, "The posterity of Canaan, which was accursed of God, should be seated in the country which God intended for the children of Israel, that so, when their iniquities were ripe, and God's time came, they might be rooted out, and the Israelites might come in their stead."
Genesis chapter 14 verses 18 to 20 is the God whose priest was Melchizedek, king of Salem. The form appears again almost immediately in verse 22, used by Abraham in an oath to the king of Sodom.
Street.